We traveled to Maguindanao province in the southern Philippines to meet one of its most controversial fighters. WAHID TUNDOK is the commander of the elite unit of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. It is the biggest armed group in Southeast Asia that is negotiating with the Philippine government for greater autonomy for the Moro people in the south. This is Liguasan Marsh, a place which has suffered violent conflict for decades. WAHID TUNDOK and these men are taking us to a new territory they recently took over from pro-ISIL groups.
We don't want what happened to Marawi to happen here in Maguindanao. But it takes more than just the MILF to combat ISIL here. We need cooperation from the military and even local government officials.
Marawi is a city in Mindanao that has recently been recaptured by the Philippine military from an ISIL-inspired group called the Maute. Months of incessant fighting has left Marawi in ruins and hundreds of thousands of its people displaced. The MILF says ISIL brings with it an ideology they call fitna, a radical set of beliefs they say that pits Muslims against each other. This has created divisions, not just among fighters here, but also family members. Some of these men admit they have fought against their own relatives. Fighters of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front had to swim through the lilies in order to get to these trenches. This area was the last stronghold of a pro-ISIL group. It was a close-quarter combat that lasted for 7 hours. These pro-ISIL fighters belong to the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Movement, a group that broke away from the MILF when peace negotiations broke down in 2008.
All these radical elements, radical group, emerge when there is failure in the peace process. And then radical elements also from outside trying to exploit the situation.
M23.
WAHID TUNDOK admits he himself almost broke away from the MILF out of frustration. He has been fighting for over 30 years, he says, and has seen too many negotiations fail. And it is most painful, he says, when he has to fight his own blood. Jamela, Alindogan, Jazeera, Maguindanao Province, Southern Philippines.